Hello, I'm Bob Kann. I'm a professor of education and a professional storyteller. Here are some other storytelling techniques to pay attention to, which are relevant for any kind of presentation that you give. Speak with passion and speak from the heart. Audiences respond both to the content of presentations and to the power of the personality of the presenter. If you care, there's a better chance that they will care too. Vary your pacing. Audiences get bored if you speak at the same cadence all of the time. So speak naturally, but make sure there's some variety in your pacing. And if at all possible, don't look at your notes, don't read from your notes, unless you're reading a specific quote. The more you maintain eye contact with your audience, the better your connection with them, and the more effective your communication. And now, the presentation. Hello, my name is Bob Kann. Today, I'm going to try and convince you that it's in your best interest to have your child care center participate in DPI's 4-year-old kindergarten community approach program if you have the opportunity to do so. I'm going to try and convince you by sharing with you 3 of the innumerable benefits of this program that you could read more about on the DPI website. Benefit number 1. The 4K Community Approach Program offers fantastic professional development opportunities for your staff. Many of these in-service programs are training sessions that your center would not be able to provide otherwise or afford otherwise without the assistance from this program, particularly when speakers of national import are brought in for the presentation. Moreover, it's quite common for not just 4K staff to be invited to these training sessions, but the entire staff of your child care center, which means you have an opportunity to improve the practices of everybody who's involved in your child care center. And, if that's not enough, many of the topics for these training sessions are topics that have been selected or suggested by people working in the child care centers, which means there's a possibility your center could identify an area in which you'd like to improve your practices, and you could receive training in that area, often free of charge, to improve your practices in that area. Typically, the professional development training sessions are community-wide, and that means your child care staff gets to know other child care workers throughout your community. What this means is there's better communication between child care workers throughout a community. It means best practices, best ideas are shared, friendships develop, people share resources and materials. Basically, what happens in many communities is child care workers throughout the community become friends. And a spirit develops in the community that we are all working together to try and improve child care in our communities, all as a result of this program. So as a result of the professional training opportunities, child care administrators and teachers have said they feel more confident, more competent, more knowledgeable, and better able to serve their children, which is exactly the kind of feelings you want your child care center staff to possess. Benefit number 2. The 4K Community Approach Program offers unprecedented opportunities for your child care center to use the resources and curricula of the school district in your area. Increasingly, school districts are considering the community child care center partners as extensions of their own school programs. So they're acting accordingly in terms of making their resources and rich curricula available to the participating child care centers. One child care center reported that their school district actually provided them with funds to upgrade their computers so that they could use the electronic observation tool for assessment that was already being used in the K through 12 program in the school district, so that the whole school district now could have the same practices, everything preschool through grade 12. In another community, the 4K Community Approach Program Coordinator and another principal in the school district presented a series of in-service programs for the 4K teachers on a program being used in the school district called Conscious Discipline. After they provided the in-service training, that 4K coordinator and the principal visited all of the 4K classrooms repeatedly over a period of 3 months to help them implement that Conscious Discipline program. After the programs were implemented, the 4K Community Approach Program Coordinator said that when she saw the new morning routines that were instituted by the 4K teachers, when she saw the warm way they greeted the children, when she saw the friendly environments that had been created, it was quite clear to her the positive impact the training had had on the entire 4K community. And finally, and perhaps the most profound effect the 4K Community Approach Program has had for child care centers has been financial. Several child care centers would not be in existence today if not for the financial assistance they received from the 4K Community Approach Program. Enrollments have increased in many 4K Community Approach community centers because parents send the younger siblings of the 4-year-olds to the same child care centers, both because it's convenient having their children in the same site, but also because they've developed confidence in the child care center as they become more familiar with the services that they're offering. Enrollments also have increased in the child care centers before school programs, their after school programs, and in their summer programs for similar reasons. And even after the children graduate from 4-year-old kindergarten and attend 5-year-old kindergarten and elementary school, many of those same children still go to that same center for before school care, after school care, or summer camps because the parents are now sold on the services provided by that child care center. School districts also provide financial stability to many child care centers, because there's a guaranteed cash flow in reimbursements for children and in rental for teaching rooms. And school districts sometimes very consciously and intentionally look for other ways they can provide financial assistance for their community partners, those child care centers. And they do it in a variety of ways, including refurbishing their facilities, sometimes paying the maintenance costs for their facilities, providing funds to retain staff, to replace old equipment, for breakage of materials. Some child care centers have actually expanded their facilities because the 4K Community Approach Program has been so financially beneficial to them. The 4K Community Approach Program is a win-win, win-win-win program for everybody involved. For children, for their parents, for families, for school districts, for entire communities. But child care centers might be the biggest winners of all. Thank you. In the presentation I just gave, although I didn't begin it with once upon a time, in fact, I just told you a story. And the story was my belief in how the 4K Community Approach Program is beneficial to child care centers. And in giving that presentation, I naturally incorporated some of the basic elements of storytelling that are relevant for any kind of a presentation. So I spoke with passion, and I spoke from the heart, because I truly believe the 4K Community Approach Program is phenomenally important and valuable in general, but specifically for child care centers. I was conscious of having a good presence at the beginning because I wanted to get my audience's attention. I tried to maintain good energy throughout the presentation to maintain the audience's attention. I tried to make eye contact as much as I could with the audience to keep them involved in the presentation that I was giving. And I was very conscious of the timing and the words I said at the very end of the presentation, because I knew that was going to be the last feeling I was going to leave my audience with. So I repeatedly rehearsed those final few lines because I wanted to get the timing just the way I wanted it to sort of leave an exclamation point at the end of the presentation. I also naturally varied my pacing, sometimes speaking more quickly, sometimes more slowly. My volume changed sometimes. Natural variety is something that makes a story or a presentation more interesting to an audience. So if you're preparing a presentation, or if you're preparing a story and you're trying to persuade someone of something, or you've got a message you want to communicate, my suggestion would be first figure out what is it you want to accomplish. What's your goal? Then go back and select the material and shape the material that will best enable you to actually achieve that goal. Rehearse and practice as much as you can, because that's going to give you more confidence. It's going to mean that you could have more eye contact with your audience, a better connection with them. Your timing will be much better if you've rehearsed and practiced as much as you can. And enjoy yourself. Storytelling is always interesting, and sometimes you can strike just the right chord in your audience to produce just the results you are seeking. Storytelling can and has changed the world.